Hi guys, welcome to the Hard Carry. I'm your host Adam Fitch. As always with this series, I'm going to go through what's happened in the world of esports business in the past week and explain why things matter. So I'm not going to waste any time. Firstly though, what I want to get into very, very quickly is I just hope everyone's staying safe. Still obviously COVID-19 is still going on. It's still an awkward time. Looks like we're going to be in lockdown for quite some time still in many places. So I just hope everyone's staying safe. And now we'll get into the weekly recap as such. So AVANGAR, which is a Kazakhstani organisation, suddenly ceased operations during the week. Now, it was actually announced on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. So for me, I saw it and laughed it off, but it was later confirmed by cybersport.ru and hltv.org that it was in fact genuine. So no reason was given for it besides the fact that AVANGAR, or at least the people behind it, were planning on operating and building esports venues in the nation in Kazakhstan instead of operating a team. So I assume the economic situation and climate at the moment has kind of forced the hand in this. It may have been premeditating the whole venue kind of venture. I mean, it's not a decision you take lightly. I mean, it needs significant funding to get going, unless you're just building one small one, and then you kind of question whether it's actually worthwhile. I mean, I'm already questioning the kind of demand for such facilities in Kazakhstan at the moment, but I am admittedly ignorant towards the esports scene over there. But I mean, I don't think there's many resources out there for us to learn about esports in Kazakhstan, you know. So yeah, April 1st they announced that they were closing the doors, really. If I look through it, so yeah, they competed in CSGO. That's where they're best known. They placed second at the Starladder Berlin CSGO major last year. They won Blast Pro Series Moscow and DreamHack Open in Rio, and one of the WePlay tournaments as well, all in 2019. So they had a really good year last year in CSGO, considering their team and such. They weren't willing to they weren't able to keep it up, or I guess I don't know if they just kind of got lazy or what it was. But basically, things changed and they didn't have quite the same success in other titles and such. They also competed in PUBG, Rainbow Six, League of Legends, and PUBG Mobile. I think they had some decent placements and performances in PUBG, but I'm not sure about the rest. I never really heard of them too much in there, so that kind of suggests they didn't really do anything groundbreaking, you know. So it's probably the second casualty, or public casualty of COVID affecting people, you know, with the economy being fucked as it is. Team Reciprocity had to let go of all its staff, which I covered last week and the week before slightly. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes with like tier 2, tier 3 orgs like sales, and as I mentioned last week, mergers are on the horizon perhaps as well. I haven't heard too much on that front. I just know there's definitely some stuff in the works over there that I can't get into right now, as I'm trying to not piss everyone off, you know, and it's not really the right time for me to be speaking publicly about stuff. But yeah, they announced it on Twitter, as you do. Fortunately, it wasn't a twit longer, which you kind of expect when it comes to esports at this point. All the important news is typically in a twit longer, which is fucking shit. But they didn't do that. It was a Twitter thread. You can go have a look and see what's what. They kind of gave like a little tribute to the fans and such, and walked through what they'd done in the 3 years of AVANGAR's existence. So we'll move straight on to Vodafone Giants, which is a Spanish organisation partnering with Chupa Chups, which is a Spanish lollipop brand, which I definitely am aware of from my youth. I don't know how big they were in America and such, if they're even in that market. I assume so. But yeah, very, very much remember Chupa Chups. If you see the logo and such, you'll know instantly. I'm not going to chuck it up here because I'm lazy and I don't do a lot of editing for these videos, to be completely honest with you, but go have a Google if you're not aware, though the name is kind of unique and memorable anyway. So yeah, Chupa Chups has entered the esports industry. So it's the brand's first venture in the industry, and the partnership is designed to convey a message full of excitement and fun. And yeah, the reasoning behind it for Chupa Chups is it's continuing to explore new territories to reach its consumers. So basically, we've got a young demographic. I don't know if it's young enough for people who are going on lollipops all the time, to be honest with you. I think that's kind of like a 10-year-old thing. And I don't know if 10-year-olds are into esports, gaming, definitely, especially around this time, but maybe not competing and watching people play, you know. But yeah, Vodafone Giants is a Spanish organisation, and it competes in like League and CSGO, Rainbow Six, and it's just it makes sense, you know, getting involved with someone in your domestic market and such, and seeing how it goes. If it works well, then there are others as Heretics and Queso and such, where they could expand, like Font Vela, the water brand, has done that. It sponsored and partnered with 4 teams last year and renewed with 1 this year, and then brought in a new one. So, like there are Spanish brands out there, and that actually leads into the next story pretty well, which is the fact that, let me find it, there we go. The One Tap League is a new league that's just been founded by 7 teams and a tournament organizer, and it's for I could get this wrong, but the Iberian region, I assume that's what it is, which is basically Spain and Portugal. So yeah, 7 teams, a tournament organizer. The teams here, I've not heard of some of them until writing this, so you have to bear with me on this one. There's Vodafone Giants again, so a decent week for those. Existence, Movistar Riders, Cream Esports, Offset Esports, Team Queso, and Wizards Esports Club, and then Cabal or Cable Esports, depending on your pronunciation there, I'd say Cabal. Cabal Esports is the tournament organizer, so it seems like the league will have 7 teams, at least founding teams, which is pretty similar to Flashpoint. It has 8 now with Fun Plus Phoenix, but obviously there's a bunch of shit that's been going on there. It'll have a prize pool of over €50,000, which is probably, I think it's like 45k in pounds, like £45,000. And it'll start in April, so later this month. Other organisations will be able to get in through qualifiers and such, but there will not be a founding team. So what we don't know is financial terms for those, whether there's a significant investment from the teams or if they've just decided to come along and Cabal or Cable, I'm going to say Cabal from now, make it easier. Cabal, I don't know if they're entirely funding it or if all the organisations are stakeholders in the league. I think that would make more sense. But so yeah, obviously Flashpoint is going through its first season now. It was doing in studio and saying it's like the only LAN going on anymore, but then COVID concerns caused that to be fucked up as well. So now it's just the production staff and talent and such in a studio, and everyone's playing at home, which is not the most ideal setting for your first tournament. And it is kind of a tournament realistically, as opposed to a league. We just call it a league, but your first event, like your inaugural season, you don't really want that, but that's how it is. And it's going to take a while for a new product to rise up and battle the likes of ESL Pro League and such. But in Spain and Portugal are underrepresented and undervalued and probably underperforming in terms of CSGO. So it's good to see, presumably, the best teams. I haven't looked into their rankings in HLTV, for example, to see if these really are the cream of the crop. No pun intended with Cream Esports there, in that region. But you have to assume they're all kind of have a similar level, and they're all got decent enough social followings and stuff. And at the moment, I'm the only one who's covered it in English. I covered it yesterday, so on Friday, and yeah, I'm interested in it. I think it's a good move. Hopefully, it helps to progress the skill level and the competition in the region, and then they can compete with the big boys in international play, and get into the ESL Pro Leagues and perhaps Flashpoint and qualify there and such. The details for the dates, format, the talent that's signed on, not that I'll be too familiar with them myself, and I'm not sure if my audience are really big on the Spanish and Portuguese scene when it comes to esports, but they'll all be announced in the coming days. So I hear what I might do is interview them and figure out if it's been and works way before Flashpoint, and whether stakeholders are the teams or if it's just the tournament organizer completely, and such and so forth. I may do that at some point. We'll have to see how that goes. It's been a hectic period, as you'd expect. But a lot of changes coming to esports inside. A lot of changes already been deployed, and yeah, it's an exciting time, but very busy one. Like, we're covering, I'd say, between 7 and 10 stories a day at the moment on ESI. That's a mixture of news and interviews and features and insights and sponsored pieces as well, because obviously the climate is we can't run events, and people want to get their shit out there, especially on the betting and gambling side. That's one thing I've seen that I think's worth noting. Like, esports betting is really ramping up. Like, the Nevada regulators just approved wagers on another tournament, which I'm gonna get the pronunciation wrong. Fucking hell, I'm so tired. I went to sleep for the latest time I have this year. Last night it's been fucking mental. But ESL Meisterschaft, I think it is, the German CS:GO effort from ESL, that you can now wager on that. Yeah, it's interesting. At least Nevada bookies and such, But yeah, that's definitely a trend that's going on, and yeah, just another team-owned league. So Flashpoint calls itself the first. If so, this is the second in CS:GO at least. And while I've not seen anyone really talk about it too much, I'm certainly going to keep an eye on it, and it'd be cool to see like an English speaking or English language company get the media rights and give it a boost over here as well. I would really like that. So yeah, keep an eye on One Tap League. And next of all, we will go into Rogue, which is obviously a North American organisation owned by Rec Global alongside London Royal Ravens and such. It's LEC team, so European team. It's in the European League of Legends, like Premier competition, the league. Has partnered with Kia Motors. Now, Kia Motors renewed for the second season of LEC, so now the automotive brand or manufacturer, however you want to describe them, they're in the car business, it sponsors both Rogue and LEC. And immediately I always feel a bit dodgy when I see a company sponsor both the league and one of the competing teams, but realistically I don't think there's anything they can do. That creates an unfair environment. That the partnership between Rogue and Kia is a 1-year partnership, and it involves just video content really, and they'll use shareholders who are celebrities in Rec Global, which have been building up over the past couple of years. So like Steve Aoki and a couple of members of Imagine Dragons and Nicky Romero will all get involved with Rogue's LEC team to create video content, which will presumably go on YouTube, maybe be streamed on Twitch, and will go on social media and such. It's not like the most in-depth partnership from the announcement at least, but it's an interesting one, And I mean, yeah, I do feel a bit weird about it, like Betway, for example, sponsoring like MIBR, and then it was sponsoring the Blast series as well, Blast Pro series. It always makes me feel a bit iffy, but we've got bigger problems in esports when it comes to conflicts of interest. Like, one day I'll speak about them a lot more, because some people do talk out about them, but then they're actually involved in potential conflicts of interest anyway, but they never speak out about it. It's a very interesting thing. I'll just say, this seems harmless enough. I don't really know what Kia could do or what LEC and Rogue could do to work together with Kia to kind of give an unfair advantage, unless Rogue is all up in LEC's activations and promos for Kia. But even then, that's like an exposure thing as opposed to a competitive thing. It's a whole different matter, and there could be problems there, but I don't think this really affects the integrity of the LEC, and that's the main thing for me, integrity, keeping it fair, keeping the landscape very open for whoever performs best wins, So yeah, I think I've explained the bulk of it there. Kia did also partner with Thunder Predator, which I believe is a South American organisation. And that was in the past couple of months as well, though no real details were there. I assume it'll be a similar kind of thing, like some promotional content being filmed, perhaps like social media advertisement, and perhaps like logos on websites and such, but it's not anything too expansive. Kia is expanding its presence in esports, but like not in like a significant way. It's not like being aggressive about it, it's just slowly but surely building things up, and I imagine we'll see a bit more. What I'm interested in is seeing if it partners with like another European entity and product, or if it goes outside of Europe again and outside of South America and kind of builds this regional approach where it's entering in North America and South America and Europe and Asia. I want to see if that happens. That'll be interesting at least, but for now, yeah, that's it. And I've got one more story for this week. Is a quick one. So Atlanta Reign, the Overwatch League franchise owned by Atlanta Esports Ventures, is sponsored by McDonald's. So obviously with everyone being trapped indoors now, and esports being one of the primary sources of entertainment, especially with like the sim racing side of things, but still like we're able to keep things going due to the online nature of the industry. Brands are wanting to get involved with that because this is where a lot of the eyeballs are now. And Atlanta Reign has partnered with McDonald's specifically for the Atlanta area for the rest of the Overwatch season, the third season for 2020. And until April 6th, so in a couple of days at the time of recording and uploading. Fans can get free delivery when they use Muck delivery, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do all their promotional spiel for you, but it's not the most intensive thing. It's just like, here's some freebies and such, at least at the moment. We may see more later on, but McDonald's is in the social media banners and cover photos and headers for Atlanta Reign and such, so it's not just here you go, here's a sponsored post. There's a little bit more to it, and as I say, it'll last for the rest of this season, so we'll have to keep an eye on what the hell's going on there. McDonald's is not his first time in esports. It's dealt with the ESL Meisterschaft, StarCraft 2 World Championship Series, La Liga Esports, and ESL 1 Hamburg. It's activated, or it's at least promoted itself. We've all seen the CSGO advertisements that it did, where it kind of likened its products and made puns and such with CSGO elements, so like the guns and strats and all that kind of stuff. So McDonald's has been pretty clever with it. It'll be interesting to see if they renew for another season, another year, with Rain, or if they expand out more. As I say, with all the eyeballs on esports at the moment, with sports basically fucking dead, and sports actually using esports to get itself out there still, like we're seeing with the NBA 2K Players Tournament, for example. Well, I think we'll see a lot more of these, especially like the fast food things where they're able to keep shit ticking, and they've got delivery functions. So Uber Eats, for example, could make a killing here. Grubhub, I think, is another one. We don't use that over here, but as Deliveroo, Just Eat, all those kind of services, I reckon they would potentially make a killing if they do things the right way. So, that's the recap. As always, I like to keep it short and sweet. I aim for about 15 minutes and we're here. Again, stay safe, everyone, please. I'm starting to be active on Twitter again, so if you want to see some quote-unquote hot takes, because that's all people really care for when it comes to my output, then you can go there, by Adam Fitch. I'm absolutely everywhere. You should know that. If you're watching this, then you'll probably know me from Twitter. But I'm everywhere, man. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm on all the podcast platforms. You know the deal. Spotify, Apple, Google, all of that. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in over the course of these first, I think, 12 episodes. Viewership isn't amazing, but I don't expect that. I'm committed for 2-3 years. We'll see how this goes. I'm trying to provide a service as opposed to just help myself out, So if this helps at least one person out each week and helps them keep afloat, then that's a positive thing, So thank you to everyone who supported the series so far. It's not going anywhere. If there's any other elements or any other series or anything like that you think I can provide and do a good job with, then feel free to reach out and we can at least discuss it and I can at least ponder upon it. I can't commit to anything, but I'm open to doing more series. I just need to know what people want and what people need for me to do it. I'm not going to waste my time doing absolute bullshit. So yeah, thank you again. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll catch you next Saturday for another episode of The Hard Carry. Cheers.